Okay, so I'm getting a prepare. Oh, this is cool. All right, so actually this might take a minute. It's actually pretty good. Okay. All right, minimize that. All right, I'm gonna get the presenting going. I need to get the agenda up, not agenda, there it is, roster. All right. So everyone can see that, correct? All right, let's do this. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Vinny Diamato, and welcome to the Senate 9. Today is November 23rd, 2020. As always, starting off with roll call. Savannah Majarowitz.
Present.
Evan Teplinsky.
Here.
Proxy for Achilles Stone.
Yes.
Bella Noel.
Here.
Dhruv Kapadia.
Present.
Hassan Faruqi.
Present.
Janez James.
Present.
Jessica Zhang. Jessica Zhang. Spencer Kwan.
Present.
Lucy Kasova.
Present.
Navia Katuru.
Present.
Shahaf Dan.
Present.
Sui Muowo.
Present.
Vivian Dai.
Present.
Sum Yu Guan.
Here.
Brandon Yu.
Present.
Richard Siegelman.
Present.
William Harrison.
Present.
Amanda Schneider. Cameron Fisher. Cameron Fisher. Sophie Jin.
Present.
Owen Kelly. Owen Kelly. Maha Noor.
Present.
Shireen Bakre.
Present.
Cassidy Balboa.
Present.
Joanna Shie.
Present.
Noah Grafe.
Present.
Amy Luo.
Present.
Michael Leone.
Present.
Jaylene Ramirez.
Present.
Selena Chen.
Present.
Sky Maxwell.
Present.
Jay Ha Jin.
Present.
Carla Leon.
Present.
Brianna Cole.
Present.
Mehar Hora.
Present.
John Michael Aracena.
Present.
Ezra Bale.
Present.
Samantha Casas.
Present.
Celine Machin.
Present.
Shayna Evans. Proxy for Shayna Evans. Keely Massini.
Present.
Juliana Torres.
Here.
Okay, so how many people is that? That is 42, 41, 40, 39. All right, so as of right now, the count is 38 people. Quick calculator. So that puts supermajority vote to 25 votes. 26 votes, my apologies.
Chairman Diamato, Owen
Yes.
Kelly is here. I think his mic just isn't working.
Owen Kelly, are you here? Can you message me privately?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I tried to say here, my computer didn't pick up on it, but I sent you a message too.
Okay. Thank you. So that's going to put us instead at 39 people. Which will still put us at 26 votes for a supermajority. And 20 votes for a simple majority. All right. With that, moving on to our agenda for today. It's pretty short. We have the president's address followed by CUOC chair confirmation, and then closing out with open forum. So, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Cool. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. My Wi-Fi is terrible. All right. So a couple things. We had the student government retreat on Saturday. Thank you to whoever showed up. It was lots of fun. We definitely plan to do it again next semester. Escape the Room was lots of fun. If you weren't able to make it, no problem. Ask some of your fellow senators what they thought. I hope everyone enjoyed. I know I did. Megan will be giving an update next Monday about our current financial breakdown. The reason she couldn't do it the last couple of weeks is because we somehow just got our budget in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So if you have any questions that you want to address with her, please feel free to email her sgfin@bu.edu, or you can go to her office hours, which are this Thursday's Thanksgiving. Just message her. She'll set up an appointment, but her office hours are on Thursdays at 12:30. She will be doing the financial breakdown next Monday. So definitely you'll be updated. Yesterday afternoon, I sent in a Slack about a Thanksgiving video. Thank you to whoever sent it to us. We appreciate it. You'll see a student government video this Thursday, which will be really, really nice. Recruitment for more staffers and more people involved in student government will be beginning in the middle of January, but David and Kat's recruitment team will be working on the breakdown of it and the calendar of it now, before the semester ends. So we're all good to go with, recruitment materials. If you are leading a Senate committee and David hasn't already asked you to, about recruitment, please let us know. Also,
bad.
Also, one thing, we will be more than happy to help recruit for colleges. I know a few colleges are struggling maybe with numbers, but if your college is looking to recruit, also let me, David, or Kat know, and we're more than happy to help recruit for your college as well. Next thing on the agenda, there will be more information about Splash 2.0 within the next few weeks. Dean B and the SAO team will be working on that. As soon as I get information, I will pass it along to you all, but it will be happening, guaranteed. They're just figuring out the how. And lastly, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope it's a safe Thanksgiving. I can definitely say I'm thankful for you all, each senator here, for Shashi, for Vinny. I appreciate your hard work, all of you. It's been a super efficient year of Senate. We've gotten plenty done, and there's always plenty more to go, but I'm super proud of, the entire Senate here for putting in the hard work. So have a safe Thanksgiving. And if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to, hop in or raise your hand. All righty, cool. If you do have any questions, feel free to text me, Slack me, email me. More than happy to, but thank you again. And Vinny, the floor is back to you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to the next point in the agenda. We have Senator Ezra Bale up for confirmation for the CUOC. Senator Bale, you have, as you know, 5 minutes to present, followed by 10 minutes allotted for a Q&A period. Whenever you are ready to go, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all again for ratifying the creation of the COVID-19 University Oversight Committee last week. And I would also like to take this as a moment to, again, thank the other 7 senators who have put so much time and effort into the creation of this committee. The CUOC, in a manner of speaking, is my brainchild that is being raised and cared for by myself and my fellow committee members. And I would like to continue leading this committee in its growth, development, and initiatives. I had conceived of the idea of such an oversight committee prior to the era of COVID-19. And in light of the events that we have witnessed with regards to the university's response to the pandemic, I reshaped my idea and built this team in order to create the CUOC. Given my essential role in the formation of this committee and the capacity in which I serve it presently, I think it's only logical for me to be officially granted the title of committee chair. I've been informed that while serving in this capacity, it will be up to my discretion to appoint committee members to the other leadership positions within the organization. With that in mind, if confirmed tonight, I will be appointing Senator Richard Siegelman as the vice chair of this committee and Senator Vivian Dye as the committee's communications coordinator. If there are any questions regarding the rationale of these decisions, I will be happy to elaborate on them once I have yielded my time. Having already stated my reasonings for why I believe I should be confirmed, I would like to make the following statement. If confirmed, I vow to lead this committee to the best of my ability and to ensure the safety of its members and its witnesses. I will see that this committee follows its mission to investigate, report, and resolve issues surrounding the university's response to the pandemic. With regards to the latter of these, the resolution, it will be my utmost priority to ensure that in seeking these resolutions to these issues, that the committee always operates from a position of peace when in talks with the university administration. As I've said before on this Senate floor, Boston University is a business. We, the students, are its paying customers. The faculty enables the business to operate, and the administration is the manager of this business. We pay the university to uphold certain expectations with regards to our education and our life here. They are contractually obligated to provide us with the quality services that we have paid them for. That being said, we are in no position to be making any demands or to be making harsh threats. But we are well within our right to take up issue with the administration and its actions. However, by the call of common human courtesy, it is required of us to speak to the administration in non-accusatory terms. While we may grow frustrated with an issue, while the committee may gather all available information to point to a source of blame, that does not matter, because it is the goal of this committee to resolve issues and not to assign blame. As the chair of this committee, I will ensure that we will work with the administration in a way that allows us to work towards resolving these issues. I will endeavor to bridge the gap between the student government and the administration so that in the future, we can together work towards the betterment of the student and faculty experience here at BU. However, this community is also about accountability. And while I am firm on the principle of working from a position of peace and from operating as a negotiator and not as an accuser, I will not stand idly by should the administration decide in the course of negotiations to steamroll over us or to simply make a problem disappear without resolving it. Through proper procedure and protocol, I will ensure that the committee gradually and conservatively handles the means through which we escalate our approach to case resolution. Drastic measures and escalation are a very final resort that I doubt we will ever have to use. However, should the moment come that the administration seems to be unwilling to negotiate or unable to see reason, or even in a position in which they completely ignore our reports and findings, I will make sure that the committee discusses and then takes appropriate stands against such situations. Having said all of that, I wish to conclude by saying that the CUOC, once fully operating, will be serving an important function for the students, the faculty, and the administration itself. Our overall goal is to resolve problems, not to create them, and certainly not to make them worse. I believe that through the work of this committee that I have developed, the team that has come together to make it happen, and the committee members who are yet to join us, we will be able to make great strides towards improving the lives of the students as well as the overall Boston University experience in this era of the new normal. Thank you all very much. I yield the rest of my time to the Senate Chair for moderation of any questions that the Senate may have for me at this time.
Thank you, Senator Bale. So at this time, I will be opening the floor to questions for 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. I will be starting the time now. Senator Toplinsky.
Hi, Senator Bale. I guess I just had a question on if multiple issues are brought to the CUOC's attention, how will you go about organization and time management?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have integrated into our bylaws several methods through which we plan to tackle this. At the moment, because there are about between 9 and 11 people that are on the committee presently. We are going to be working with recruitment to see if we can get more on board. I ask that you senators, if you have any interest, please contact us. And if you know of anybody who is outside of student government who would be interested, please let us know. But at the moment, we are considering our primary means of organization and planning for going about handling multiple issues is that the committee would be divided up into departments and teams, in which one department would focus on the investigation process and one another department would handle the process of developing resolutions if need be. There are different areas of which other departments that we are considering developing, communications and such like that. But there's a hierarchy that is in place and being developed in terms of organization for how we would be able to tackle multiple issues at once.
Are there any additional questions for Senator Bale? Senator Aracena.
I personally think that a discussion to make Ezra Bale the CUOC committee chair should be short. In my personal opinion, I think he deserves it. He has a vision for what he wants it to be, and he's been very clear with what he will do. And I don't want this to get construed in a way saying, oh, let's just push this forward because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. I took a nap today. I do firmly believe that he will do a good job. He will have our best interests in mind, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Senator Toplensky.
Well, I do agree with the sentiments of Senator Aracena. I have a few more questions, and I don't think anyone should be even thought of voted upon until at least 3 questions are discussed. So with that, I'm going to ask my next question. Senator Bale, do you think, I guess one thing you mentioned was talking about why you were going to talk about why you have decided on that, your vice chair and your director of communications, if I'm right in those title names. Do you mind talking or elaborating a little bit on that?
Sure thing. I had actually prepared a portion of my statement on this, but I had redacted it for time. If you'll just give me one moment to retrieve it.
Of course, yeah.
So in conversations with Senator Siegelman in this moment, he has demonstrated a great deal of passion for the issues and the process itself that the committee will be following. He and I have a good rapport with one another. Of his own admission, he believes that he and I balance each other out really well. Not that I am in complete agreement with this one sentiment, but if we are to consider, if one of us is more, to use the analogy of good cop, bad cop, we tend to switch off that role with one another quite well in terms of how we intend to approach things, and we keep each other balanced. And we have, furthermore, Senator Siegelman has demonstrated a great deal of organization. In terms of when we've been working on developing our bylaws, he often tends to be one step ahead of me. He really seems to grasp the overall vision of the committee, and I believe he would be a good fit. Plus, not to mention the fact I will be graduating in the spring. And it's given that the nature of this committee is that it will continue to exist at the discretion of the committee. Assuming that he decides to ask for appointment to the chair position, I think he would be a good fit for that to keep it going because he's been here since the start. As for Senator Dye, for appointing her for communications, she has some prior experience with this field. She cares very much about the issues as well, and she feels very confident in her abilities to manage the communications aspects of the committee, which would involve managing social media, reporting, dissemination of the committee's reports and such like that, as well as making sure that our communication between ourselves and the Senate and the student government is efficient. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Senator Toplensky.
Yeah, I have one more. I apologize, but I'm very strong in my opinion on this one. Just about making sure questions are asked. So another question I had was with regards to relationship with the administration. Of course, your committee will definitely be tackling very intense and very, well, I guess not necessarily a range of intensity of what senators, what students are going through. And I guess how do you think your committee should balance that? How will you balance that? Any information on that I think would be really helpful.
Yeah, so I was talking to a committee member about this a couple of weeks ago, and it is our approach, and this is something that we have written into our bylaws, and this is something that I have intended from the very beginning as we begin any investigation. It's our intent in terms of maintaining this balance to, before we begin any investigation, once we have a sufficient number of people who have reported to us an issue, because if like one person, like say, for example, if anybody's seen on Reddit in the past couple of weeks, a student had complained about an issue about getting their roommate out of their apartment for quarantine housing. By all other accounts, though, from the reports that I have been able to see, the university has actually handled that quite well historically. This just seems to be a minor blip. However, if there has been a series, so based on that one case alone, I don't think that's something that is something that we necessarily have to tackle as a committee, because again, it was one incident out of essentially hundreds of others, because the cases I believe are in the hundreds for people who are in quarantine. I don't think that's correct. But the point is, there's been a larger quantity of people that have been successes in how the university has handled putting students into quarantine. So there's not really much of a need to tackle that as an investigative issue. However, if we were to see a frequency of things that is presented to us, of something that is like a repeated issue, before we even take the time to begin the investigation properly, it's our intention to contact the appropriate university administration officials and sit down with them and say, look, this is what we have been hearing. This is what the students have started to tell us about, and this is where we're starting to see some concern. Are there any restrictions that are in place or anything that the university is working with presently that may have caused this, that will keep us from having to take an investigation in the first place, or keep us from having to develop a resolution at all, because the university may already be working towards fixing that problem. Because again, that is the intent of this committee, is to work towards resolving the problems themselves and coming up with them and looking into these problems. So with regards to, and I believe if you can remind me if I'm wrong, with regards to balancing our relationship with the administration, we always start from this position of peace and making sure that we assume the best, because and this is something I discussed with that one committee member, we don't know what the administration is working with in terms of what the city is saying to them, what the state is saying to them, and in some cases what the federal government may be saying as well. And that is something that the committee needs to bear in mind when looking into issues. With that said, if it turns out that there are no restrictions, or there is a restriction in place that has not wiggle room, but there's something that could have been executed better, that's something the committee can then begin to look into. And once all of that process has been followed for the investigation and for the development of resolutions, at that point we would sit down with the university. And as I said last week when we were proposing this committee, we sit down and we say, this is what we found. We're not accusing you of anything. This is something that we are sure was not intentional. Doesn't matter where the blame lies, but this is something that the students see as a problem. This is something that faculty sees as a problem, and this is what our research says about it. Here are some possible solutions. What can we do to implement these solutions or work with you to developing new ones? Because we see this as a hole in your front line. We don't want the university to be open to liability, and we don't want to see students and faculty suffer as a result of this policy and this action, or the effect of a policy or action that is in place at the moment. So yeah, we would be, again, always starting from that position, but then in the moment when the university starts to stonewall, or the university starts to begin, for lack of a better phrase, they start to begin to spin a situation, that is a moment in which we would then consider taking a little bit of a stronger position with them, where it says, well, you've told us X, but our reports have found Y, and we had asked you even before we had dove into Y about X, and we have found all of this that's to the contradictory. So what do you expect us to do now? And if you're really not going to take action, that's something that we really would not appreciate that you do. And that is when we would then very carefully and very cautiously begin to consider the process of escalation, which I can elaborate if you would like to, but again, it's a very short meeting. And escalation is, again, as I have repeated many times before, is a process that I do not see the committee ever having to set foot into doing, because at their core, and as I said at the very beginning during my statement, The administration are people too, and out of common human courtesy, it is required of us to negotiate with them. We're not pointing a finger or anything. So we are just trying to have a conversation. So that is all I have to say on that matter.
Thank you. And with that, the time for questions and answers has elapsed. I apologize in the background if any of you guys hear the construction. They just started like 10 minutes ago. I will now open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Aracena.
I would like to motion to move into confirmation voting of the CUOC committee chair for Ezra Bailer, of course.
Second.
All right, so the motion is to move into voting procedure. We are looking for a 2/3 majority. You guys know the drill. Raise your hands in the participants part if you're looking, or if you're going to vote yes on this motion. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
I have a supermajority.
All right, with that, we are now in voting procedure. I will lower everyone's hands, and after which I will open the floor again to any points or motions. Senator Faruqi.
I move to vote on the confirmation of the COOC committee chair nominee.
All right, I'll actually second it this time. Second.
All right. With that, the motion is to go into voting procedure. Looking for a simple majority here. Please raise your hands and under participants if you wish to vote in the affirmative. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
I have a simple majority.
All right, and with that, the motion passes. We are now going to vote for the confirmation of Ezra Bale as CUOC committee chair. Senator Ezra Bale. The Vice Chair will put the link in the Slack. Anyone who does not have access to it, please private message me here and I will send it over to you.
Mr. Chairman, if you could put it in the Slack, my computer is not cooperating with me.
The link is now in the Slack. Thirty seconds. All right, I'm now going to close the voting form. And with 32 votes in the affirmative, congratulations, Senator Bale. You are confirmed as chair of the CUOC committee.
Thank you.
All right. With that, that is the end of our main points in the agenda today. I will now open the floor up to anything that people want to bring up during open forum. Senator Aracena.
In light of the silence, I would like to motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Everyone, please raise your hands in the chat. We are looking for 2/3 here.
Oh, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority vote?
Mr. Chairman, I have a supermajority and then some.
All right. Congratulations. The motion passes. Everyone have a great break. Be safe, be well, and enjoy the evening. I am now going to turn off the recording and stop the live stream.